Wondering if prong collars are cruel? In my opinion, yes they are, and I'm going to explain why, plus give you an alternative harness that you can use instead of your prong collar that actually works better, so stay tuned. For the best dog training and product advice, be sure to hit subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I put out a new video every Wednesday. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa. I've sat and trained hundreds and hundreds of dogs and puppies, and I love sharing my advice with all of you. Now, I know there's a lot of conflicting dog training advice out there. There's positive reinforcement training on one side, and then there's punishment-based training on the other side. I personally use positive reinforcement training because it's based off of science rather than old school punitive methods. The prong collar really comes from those old school outdated methods, and unfortunately people are still using them when there are actually better tools to teach your dog. And unfortunately people are still using them when there are actually better tools to teach your dog not to pull on a leash. So I'm going to get into why they are harmful and then talk about an alternative harness you can use that actually works better than the prong collar. So let's get straight into it. The first reason why a prong collar is bad is because they can be physically harmful. A prong collar has been associated with spinal injuries, whiplash, crushing of the trachea, dislocated bones in the neck, and damage to the skin on the neck. If you think about a prong collar, it's essentially pinching the skin, and that can actually even cause scar tissue around the neck, which makes your dog kind of not feel the pain anymore, become immune to the pain, and then actually pull even more. So even if you didn't care about your dog, which I know you do because you're watching this video, prong collar really doesn't work because they're just going to end up pulling anyway once they're kind of desensitized to the prongs. Number two, a prong collar can be emotionally harmful as well. The prong collar mimics the sensation of being strangled on a walk, which can lead to aggression and anxiety. Now, you might not see the anxiety or aggression overnight, but over time it can slowly build up into a severe case of anxiety, which is more difficult to train than just preventing it altogether. If your dog suffers from leash reactivity where they get excited when they see something like a skateboard or a dog, I can almost guarantee that it'll get worse with a prong collar, because if they're already anxious and then you're also adding choking to it, it's just a recipe for disaster. And put yourself in their shoes for a second. If you were being strangled every time you walked and you didn't really understand why or what it was coming from, it would just make your anxiety worse. All right, so at this point, you're probably like, okay, I get it. Prong collars are bad, but I don't know what to do. My dog still pulls. How do I fix this? No worries, I'm gonna recommend a training tool that I use, but first, I do wanna emphasize something. No matter what tool you use, nothing is going to actually train or teach your dog to walk calmly on a leash. If you want your dog to actually learn to walk calmly on a leash, you're going to have to take the time to train them. Luckily, I do have a two-part series on loose leash walking, which I will link to. I think it's right here or right here. But in the meantime, the product I'm going to recommend is a front clipping harness. Now, a front clipping harness clips to the front of their chest so that when they pull, they will turn around and it will redirect them to you. It makes it harder for them to actually pull on a leash. And us humans love instant gratification, and that's what this front clipping harness provides. Now, like I just mentioned, no tool is actually going to train your dog to walk calmly on a leash. So the second you take this front clipping harness off, they're going to start pulling again. And this is why it's important to also, along with using this tool, teach them and train them, take the time to actually train them to walk calmly on a leash. Now, the awesome thing about dog training is it actually trains us humans as well on consistency. If you think about it, us humans really struggle with staying consistent. That's why the weight loss industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. We all know the key to weight loss is just eating less, exercising more, eating clean. However, there are so many of us, including me, that struggle with this. If you translate that to dog training, people struggle with carving out time to really consistently train their dog. In my 2-part video series that I just mentioned, I will teach you exactly how to train this. However, it's up to you to really show up consistently and carve out that time to train your dog. All right, so that is it for today, everyone. If you're struggling with your dog reacting to other dogs on leash, or maybe trying to bark at skateboards, bark at other dogs, don't worry, I got you covered. So I have a free leash reactivity guide, and it actually walks you step by step exactly how to train this behavior out of your dog. And also I provide a little area to fill out your own personalized training plan for your dog. So I definitely recommend downloading that. You can download that below. I've included a link. I've also included a link to the front clipping harness. I really recommend it. I've linked to my favorite front clipping harnesses below. Also, in case you didn't know, I have a Possum Parents Facebook group. You can join for free, and that's where I answer all of your product and training questions. So if your dog still isn't trained after all of these free resources, well, that's kind of your fault. All right, so if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and share with all of your dog friends that could maybe benefit from this video. All right, so that's it for today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.